Jana Duggar's quiet heartbreak, the unspoken journey from loyalty to liberation. The story of Jana Duggar has always been one wrapped in grace, patience, and quiet resilience. For years, she was the composed face in the background, never scandalous, never outspoken, simply reliable. But behind those serene eyes and gentle smiles lay a reservoir of unspoken battles, emotional complexities, and a quiet search for identity that many never saw coming. Now, as new details unfold about her life post-marriage, a deeper and more personal truth begins to emerge, one that sheds light on heartbreak not just in the romantic sense, but in the soul-searching journey of a woman redefining herself in the shadows of a well-known name. Jana, the eldest daughter of the Duggar family, was often seen as the quiet anchor of the household, a woman who seemed content to support from behind the scenes. In a family known for big weddings, social media reveals, and public declarations of faith and unity, her decision to marry in early 2024 without much fanfare was both shocking and deeply symbolic. No TLC cameras, no elaborate gowns or viral first kisses. Just a private, heartfelt moment shared among a select few. It wasn't a rejection of love or celebration. It was a soft declaration of independence. Yet the silence that followed the ceremony said more than any wedding speech could. Sources close to the family reveal that the months after her wedding were emotionally complex. Jana had chosen a man who, while rooted in Christian values, held perspectives far more open and emotionally fluid than what she had grown up around. Their relationship began as a haven, a place of freedom from performance. But quickly, that freedom clashed with the deeply ingrained familial expectations Jana had lived under for more than 3 decades. To many outsiders, it appeared as if Jana had simply retreated into newly privacy. But to those watching closely, the changes were telling. Her social media, once dotted with pictures of family outings, garden projects, and glimpses of her close-knit sibling bonds, began to go quiet. Events that typically saw her attendance, birthdays, baby showers, public faith rallies, were noticeably missing her presence. Her absence, though unspoken, became its own form of narrative. It wasn't that she no longer loved her family, quite the contrary. Those ties ran deep, and their expectations were etched into her soul. But with marriage came a mirror. And in that mirror, Jana began seeing a woman who had spent her life serving roles, not exploring her own voice. The image she saw was beautiful but incomplete. Friends say that one of the most difficult elements of Jana's new journey was not adjusting to married life, but grieving the realization that stepping into her own truth might mean stepping away from the only version of herself she had ever been allowed to be. One friend shared a moment that encapsulated Jana's heartbreak. Sitting together in a quiet room, Jana reportedly confessed, "I always believed that if I waited patiently, followed the path, God would bless me with peace. But no one tells you that sometimes peace costs everything you've known." The tension wasn't about love, it was about identity. The more she embraced her role as a wife and a woman seeking her own spiritual and emotional growth, the more her relationship with her family grew strained. Some family members, raised in a culture of unity above individuality, struggled to understand Jana's silence. Others perceived it as disapproval, but in truth, it was transformation. Her husband, a thoughtful and private man, became both her confidant and her companion in this emotional unearthing. They sought out counseling not because of discord, but to learn how to support each other while shedding the heavy skins of expectation. Together, they navigated unfamiliar terrain, not just marital, but existential. What does it mean to honor your past while rewriting your future? Jana began attending a small church outside the family circle, an act that to many wouldn't seem monumental, but within the context of Duggar culture, it was revolutionary. She found solace in spaces where no one called her by her maiden name, no one asked for autographs, and no one expected her to represent a brand of faith or family. An elder at that church shared, "She doesn't try to be anything but herself. She comes in quietly, always with kind eyes. You can sense the depth of her spirit, even in her silence." At home, her life has taken on a rhythm that is both healing and unfamiliar. The house she now calls home is modest, yet filled with intentional warmth. Friends describe homemade meals, open windows, soft music, and the occasional sound of laughter when close friends visit. There's no performance, no audience. Just a woman rediscovering what peace feels like without permission. Some of her siblings have quietly extended support. One younger sister, known for a more modern take on faith and family, has become a frequent visitor. Their bond has reportedly grown stronger in these turbulent times, serving as a lifeline between past and present. In moments of shared vulnerability, they speak not only as sisters, but as women redefining what family means on their own terms. And then there are the journals. Though never confirmed publicly, friends insist Jana has been writing since her wedding day. Page after page of reflections, confessions, and memories. Observations about what it means to be raised in a world where compliance equals worth. Musings on love, not the storybook kind, but the gritty, sacrificial love that demands hard conversations and personal growth. In one allegedly leaked entry, Jana wrote, "The silence I kept wasn't peace. It was a waiting room, a place where I kept pretending I was okay, until I finally asked myself if I even knew who I was outside their love." What she's discovering, piece by piece, is that love can be redefined, that faith can evolve, that family doesn't have to mean uniformity, and most powerfully, that a woman's voice, even one long kept quiet, is never too late to be heard. The heartbreak is real, but it's not the heartbreak of failed love. It's the ache of letting go of a role you played so well, for so long, that even you believed it was your only script. And it's the ache of discovering that authenticity sometimes looks like distance, like confrontation, like walking away, not in anger, but in self-respect. Jana's story resonates with women around the world. Those who have been daughters of duty, sisters of sacrifice, caretakers of a legacy they didn't choose. Her quiet bravery is not the kind that headlines newspapers, but it is the kind that changes lives. In this new chapter, Jana is no longer the background figure in someone else's story. She is the author of her own, a woman who chose the long, difficult road of becoming, not in defiance, but in deep honesty. And though the road is still unfolding, and the ache of estrangement still lingers, there is beauty in the journey. As one friend put it, she's not angry, she's not bitter. She's just finally being honest, with herself, and with the world. Perhaps in time, the family will understand. Perhaps reconciliation will come. But whether or not it does, one thing is certain. Jana Duggar is no longer waiting to be seen. She is living, she is choosing, and she is becoming, quietly, boldly, and completely on her own terms. Thanks for watching.